It occurred to me last night in the second month of the plague. It is Friday, April 24th, year of the plague, 2020. America has passed 50,000 dead by now, 49,887 victims that we know of. And it is increasingly clear the virus arrived here earlier than we thought. It is increasingly clear that the Chinese Communist Party owes the world reparations. It is increasingly clear a lot of people who were sick in January were sick with the virus and did not know it. Many deaths unaccounted for. It may have gotten here in December. And we will find out. Epidemiology will be able to find out. Public health authorities will be able to find out. Like they traced the 1918 Spanish flu 100 years later. Or almost 100 years later in John Barry's book, The Great Influenza. Historians will look back and they will say the most consequential decision was Donald Trump's to stop inbound traffic from China. It bought America a little time in which to make mistakes, time in which to increase hospital capacity, time in which to get together a plan and a task force. And he's done very, very well. Very, very well. And that he meets every day with Joe Biden's advance team in the White House press room, I don't know why he does, but he does. It occurred to me last night, watching the draft, why I make so much news. Does that sound like a non sequitur to you? Why was my interview last week with Mike Pompeo everywhere? Last week, a week ago today. Why was my interview with Attorney General William Barr on every news station this week? Why was my interview with Leader Mitch McConnell in every newspaper and on the lips of every governor and on every story? Why did that happen? Why do I make news and television anchors do not? They have far more resources. I mean, I have the best producer in the business in Generalissimo when he comes in, which isn't often. And I have a great senior engineer in Adam. And Gentle Ben is effective in pushing out the news. But why do I make so much news and nobody else does? For the same reason that the NFL draft was so clunky last night. Are you putting this together? Jedrick Wills, yes, the Browns got their man. That's great. But it was just awful television. It was terrible to watch. It was horrific. Roger Goodell is never exciting, and he's particularly not exciting when you don't have the fans booing him. They should have given the whole draft to Mike and Mike. Remember them? The guys from ESPN Radio? Mike and Mike? For the same reason that Vin Scully is the broadcasting goat. It's because radio people have a skill set. I've got to make this real to you as you listen to me without the benefit of any audiovisual aid that I can point to. I don't have a weather map. I don't have B-roll. I've got some video that you can watch, and I'll show you, for example, a little clip here. My favorite clip of yesterday is the president talking about Joe Biden being a sleepy guy. So I'll demonstrate how radio will use. If you're watching at HughHewitt.com or at YouTube or on Facebook or Instagram, you will see this. If not, I will describe it to you. It's Joe Biden being referred to as a sleepy guy in the basement by the president. Roll cut number 17.
Yes, thank you. Looking forward to November, the election. Given the risk that the flu and the coronavirus there could be a problem. Do you think there is a risk that there will be lack of agreement, lack of legitimacy to the results in a very close election, and people start saying, well, a whole bunch of people couldn't go and vote because they were scared?
I can't tell you what's going to happen in an election. Yeah, great question. I can't tell you what's going to happen. We have a sleepy guy in a basement of a house that the press is giving a free pass to, who doesn't want to do debates because of COVID, and lots of things are happening, right? And I watched a couple of interviews, and I say, oh, I look forward to this. But they're keeping him sheltered because of the coronavirus.
All right, so what just happened there? You just heard a superb communicator create an image. Sleepy Joe in the basement, and he's being kept sequestered because of the virus. He created an image of a man without energy and capacity. He'll drive that home. Joe Biden screwed up his fundraiser last night. He said the president was going to postpone the election. Honest to goodness, Joe. In any event, here's what's happening right now. When you watch television, their ratings are through the sky, even CNN. Poor old CNN. You know, always the last child in the family, right? No one watches it. And even CNN is getting more viewers. But you watch and you don't learn. When you listen, you learn. I am conveying information. My interviews are long and textured and nuanced, and I prepare for them, and they contain news. They ask questions that aren't rote and are not routine. When President Trump goes out and meets with, and Media Matters, if you're listening, email, you can go get that clip. Say, Hewitt made a mistake. He said President Biden. Yeah, go ahead. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Everyone's made up their mind about this election. It will only change depending upon when they focus on the choice in October and November. Who do I want to lead this economy? Make the economy great again. MEGA. Make America great again. He did that. Make the economy great again. We want the blue-collar boom back. You're going to trust Trump. You're not going to trust Biden. Honestly, Biden won't even be president. If he's still on the ticket, you realize he'll be run by whoever his advisors are. Not the vice president. This vice president's going to be like the vice president in Veep. But what my point is, TV anchors cannot make news because they do not listen. They are coached. They are told what to do. We make news because our guests, whether it's Hillary Clinton or John Kerry or Madeleine Albright or Chris Coons or Angus King, anyone from the left, or it's William Barr and Mitch McConnell or Donald Trump and Vice President Pence and Mike Pompeo from the right, whether it's Majority Leader McConnell or Leader McCarthy, I give them a fair shake. Nancy Pelosi would get the fairest shake in the world, but you get a tough interview. If the Vice President Biden came on, he'd get a great interview. But I would ask him, do you mind being called Sleepy Joe? And then I would drill down. The things you are calling for have already been done. Do you have anything new? Do you want to explain why you would not have been a disaster because you would not have imposed the ban on inbound flights from China on other than American citizens and green card holders? You said it was xenophobic, did you not? It would be a difficult interview. He won't make it through any difficult interview. He's never going to come out and play tag. He's going to stay in the blue bubble. And they think they're doing great. They got these polls that tell them they're winning. You know what? People are going to go into that voting booth and they're going to say, my gosh, Joe Biden does not have the capacity to lead this country. I don't know who's going to be it. Trump swings from the hip. He's Babe Ruthian in his energy. He is occasionally off the cuff. He thinks out loud. They mock him. But he meets every day with Joe Biden's advance team. Every day he goes out and I watch it. And I say, why are you meeting with Joe Biden's advance team? Why do you do that? Because 90% of the people in that room and 99% of the people in the Beltway media hate Trump. Hate him. Because he has contempt for their craft. And it is a craft. And I'm very good at it. I'm not as good as Rush. Rush built them all. I'm just a tenant in it. But I'm very good at it after 30 years. And it's because I listen and I prepare. And the NFL draft last night was terrible because it was a bunch of television guys who don't even know how to repeat the names of the people they're directing the question to. You know when I say Dwayne, I say, Dwayne, what are you doing? I've given him a signal to wake up and get over to the microphone. He's lying down. Dwayne, would you come over to the microphone? See?
Yes.
He's very deeply asleep. So we got him on the camera. Ben puts him on the camera now. So did you watch the draft at all? You were talking to Campbell last night.
No.
Okay, so you missed how it was awful. It was terrible. And you know why? They don't know how to do verbal cues. They only know how to do television cues, and they don't have a stage manager, a stage director, a set director. They don't have a producer. They don't have a bug in their ear. They got nothing.
It's actually, I mean, the whole format of it, it's just there's nothing. They tried to make something out of something that is very routine and you do in a closed, smoky old room. I mean, when we had Little League drafts.
Yeah, well, when you have everyone does a fantasy football draft, everybody knows how to do a draft. I watched it all, by the way. I guess I turned it off at like pick 30 because I was got to go to bed.
It's
but
not.
I'll tell you what,
it's not a made-for-TV event.
No, radio skills involve telling you everything and painting pictures.
Telling stories.
Television skills. Oh my gosh, it was awful to watch. And that's why I make news and nobody else does at the level in which I do. My Washington Post column on why Leader McConnell is right about the states is up at thewashingtonpost.com on the front page. Go there. The leader is right. Rescue and relief of the states must be accompanied by reform. Rescue and relief of the states must be accompanied by reform. Leader Mitch McConnell is Cocaine Mitch. Stay tuned.